Welcome to Buff Brain Sportscast, Season 2, Episode 17, Week 18 of the NFL. We are still here, first cast of 2024. We're titling this one, 2024, The Pattern in the Chaos. The idea of this cast is to, first of all, thank you to all of the newcomers we've had. Really appreciate seeing just all of the activity. More people is always a good thing that's coming to the channel. Hearing what we have to say. So again, thanks for that. We have, for the newcomers here, we have 5 TVs set up here, so I'm already distracted. We're trying a new thing today. We have the red zone going on because there are so many games going. We have the hometown South Dakota SDSU, South Dakota State University Jackrabbits at the championship. Looks like they're going to win this one against, I think it's like Montana State or something like that.
Montana.
Yes. So today is going to be, the main kind of theme here is 2024 is going to be, there's going to be so much chaos going on that one of the first things we want to relay to people is how to recognize the patterns, know that it's a cooked story. It's part of the chaotic narrative that they're going to throw at us. Probably school shootings, space stuff, war stuff, political stuff. It's an election year, music stuff, sports stuff. It's going to be a whiplash effect, just chaos, the whole thing. And then we might see some crazy stuff even pop off at the end of the year with this whole election thing going on. So the message we want to put out there is the same message that we always do, but focusing on today is, since there's a lot of people right now that seem to have caught wind that something in the world isn't right, whether it was COVID that woke them up or a fake news story or whatever it may be. There are a lot of people whose ears have perked up. And as a result of their ears perking up, they're looking for truth, answers to questions of why the world is the way that it is, because it doesn't seem quite right. So we want to help people maintain a sense of calm and not to panic in the incoming chaos that is absolutely going to happen. The script is written, and noticing some little patterns can really help you identify when you're being misled, when you're being lied to, when a lie is a part of that World Wide Web of liars. Now, for everybody new here, the World Wide Web of liars that I just referred to is part of Lesson 1 at BigBrainUniversity.com that you can find one of our first 5 lessons that we've done for everybody. I do recommend, going through them in chronological order and going from there. Kev here for the new people. Again, I will give you a little bit of a bio on us, just an intro before we get rolling into the football games here. Is former NSA statistics, biostatistics, and algorithms expert. World travelers, played on the World Poker Tour in different countries. So that's actually that's a whole bundle of information within itself. Just he's going to talk to us a little bit about Antarctica these days, because tons of people in different genres are all interested in Antarctica, and Kev here had the opportunity to go as a part of basically just a job opportunity. So there's not a lot of people that can really have the credentials that we do. Myself, I have 4 college degrees that were focused on information security, cybersecurity, and forensic methodology, basically engineering systems, keeping all of them safe, all of the, from a networking level to a physical level to a consciousness level. and spiritual type of level. I've also written a book about my, my path, my spiritual journey, that I ran across some things and experiences that were just, it's like the whole journey that I went on was meant to be written about and told to other people, because it just absolutely augments this idea that everything that we were told is a lie, and there is much more going on here than we're being told about for specific reasons. And the things that happened in my book help to really explain some of those things, and also to introduce a conversation around some more intricate ideas that require a lot of backstory to actually explain. So the book is very detail-oriented kind of journey, reflection, if you will, about the main things that happened and everything that you all need to know from that in order for understanding. So there, Shape of the Earth people who have already figured that out, where it's like, yeah, that thing is a lie. Okay, well, why are they lying? What's going on here? Some of the things that happened in the book were very specific towards that subject, even though in the book I don't reference it at all. Because during the journey that I was on, the path that I was on, where I went to a Buddhist monastery in the Arizona desert, that was later written about in Rolling Stone magazine. I'll just leave it at that. There we go. We're here. 2024.
2024.
We're ready to roll.
Order and discipline, folks. Order and discipline. Don't calm. Don't freak out. Stay calm. Week 18 NFL coming to an end. We're still here.
It's been 3 weeks. Last week, it was just before Christmas.
Yeah.
We let a couple weeks go by for the holidays.
Didn't let Taylor Swift ruin my Christmas.
Yep, we let her do her own thing.
We let her off the hook.
Didn't the Chiefs lose?
I think so.
At home?
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Taylor Swift.
It was
Taylor Claus.
Yeah. Something dark like that.
So we are back. We got by our biographies say enough. World traveling, absolutely. You got so many stories. I've seen the world from a viewpoint of America, looking at the rest of the world. Nobody has an idea what's going on.
Wait, we forgot to give them the disclaimer.
Oh yes, the disclaimer.
None of the views and expressions expressed on this podcast are belong to the NSA.
The disclaimer, I like that. At least it covers.
Right.
The lawyer said y'all gotta just cover yourself, because if you come up and if you say something that just magically happens, like, well, fucking coincidental, motherfuckers.
Exactly.
But here's the disclaimer.
Yeah.
Disclaimer. I do not speak for the Department of Defense, nor I do not speak for any government agency. I only speak for myself, my travels, my opinions are my own. The views and opinions presented herein are those of the authors, and do not represent the views of the DoD or any of its components. That is brought to you by Law Firm.
Nice. So I was also thinking before we get going here, I was going to enter with a joke that started out. I was just going to develop this quick case of amnesia and then tell you a story about how I went to a Taylor Swift concert and how I can't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard the news, but there was an article out there about a phenomena where people are experiencing amnesia after going to the Eras Tour concert. And it comes directly after our last episode was titled Taylor Swift's Lyrics Are Nuclear Warheads, where we have discussed in the past here recently how they must be using some form of hypnosis to create this effect that she's having on the world, to get these young girls to, again, picket against their own parents, like, keep your promise, keep your promise.
Yes.
They're ready to fillet the guy.
The religious Swifties.
And it's becoming this phenomena where, okay, now we see this story where they're reporting amnesia after being at a concert. Well, one of the effects of that is the result of being hypnotized, where you forget what happened. You go up and you maybe all have been to or have seen a hypnotherapist be hired to go to a high school, and they do some hypnotism on the stage, and they're like, okay, now lay stiff, flat as a board, and they'll have someone go like stand on the person who weighs a lot, and the person will like resist the weight. It's like, what just happened?
You can't pick them up off the ground.
Oh yeah, I've seen some really interesting things, and it goes through pretty deep into consciousness studies. Like, that's really interesting stuff. But one of the results of that is you ask that person that person stood on if that just happened, and they'll be like, what? No, of course not. I would never do something like that. Me? No. They deny the whole thing. They wouldn't believe it. And I was watching a lot of movies too in these past 2-3 weeks now. Several of them were to do with really a lot about hypnotism. One of them was called oh shoot, I don't remember the name of it. It's not called Influencer, but that was one of the recent ones I watched. Basically, it was a couple goes to a kind of like a yoga meditation retreat, and the therapist there basically performs hypnotism on them, and the one girl is like really susceptible to it, like she's going through her whole things, and you feel at ease and breathe deeply, all these things, like actually kind of like a yoga instructor would do. That is a soft form of hypnotism or hypnosis. And in the movie, the hypnotist actually ends up being relatively more successful with the person who is more resistant to it. But what I was taking away from it was like, okay, so that could easily be why someone listens to a Taylor Swift song and they're like, I'd rather go vomit in my car and drive around for a week without opening the windows than hear that song ever again. And some people are like, Taylor Swift, I want to sniff your socks from hearing that song. They're like, I want to change your socks. I want to paint your toenails. I want to worship you as this deity, is the point I'm trying to make.
Swiftie. She's got the NFL by the world.
They want to be like her. Like this is, I don't want to belabor on this, but this is getting out of control where it's like Taylor Swift is raising your kids.
She is. She's in control of everything.
And it's, yeah.
It's not good.
That was part of what, and I wanted to make a joke. I had amnesia. I went to a Taylor Swift.
You ask a Swiftie, what's the worst Taylor Swift song? And they'd be like, how dare you?
There we go. Now all of our little formalities, I feel a little bit more.
I just feel uneducated. I thought about Taylor for like 6 seconds.
This is.
I was hoping that she wouldn't get back in the NFL in 2024, but she's still fucking here.
Well, you're welcome.
Taylor, give us back our NFL.
Okay,
we want our NFL back.
One of the things I gotta mention here is because it's this Taylor Swift driven, and because I go a long ways in fucking 2 to 3 weeks, so I'm gonna try to revamp what I've been up to and all the little things I've come across. A lot of synchronicity happened. I should have been writing some of it down just to recapture some of it for y'all, but it's okay. Remember last episode where I was talking about Swifties number 13, right? And I didn't know that. Okay, well, I'm watching a streamer online on Twitch, and he's a Catholic guy, so he's talking about religion. And meanwhile, on Facebook, there's another conversation going on, where a gal posted the Bible is a derivative, was derived from the Egyptian Bible, or aka the Book of the Dead, whatever that long name is. In the comments of this post, a guy had mentioned the Emerald Tablets of Thoth / Hermes. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if I've really heard of that before. So from what he said, sounded kind of interesting. So I look it up. It was a 67-page document is what I found. So I'm reading through it. And it says that it begins with like, this is where Jesus, Solomon, and Apollonian, and I was going to make a joke here. So cheese, salami, and applesauce we're all in the same place. That's what those names sounded like. Sorry if that wasn't funny. I don't care. They're all in this place called the Halls of Amenti, right? Here's this word amen again. So amen with a T-I. Halls of Amenti. And it reads that this place is deep underground, Kevin. Deep underground. So I found this interesting right away. Like, this place is like in a place of like Middle Earth. Like, if you go down, there's a place like Middle Earth, like the fucking elves and stuff lived, or okay. So, and I had just watched. There's like a new Lord of the Rings series. So I had watched like 8 episodes of it. So like my mentality, like everything was synchronizing, right, to like kind of fit this puzzle together.
The Lord of the Rings will do it.
Yeah.
It'll definitely pay something.
I read on, I'm like, I'm a little bit intrigued here, and so while this religious conversation is going on in the Twitch chat, I'm reading about how Jesus studied at this place deep underground, was initiated into the mysteries, as it said. Now you can go through that, and long story short here, I'll sum up 67 pages for you briefly with just what I found was interesting, was how the number 13 came into it. It talks a lot about number 12s, and then 13 becomes very important as well. And all of this was aligning, and I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on, one sec. I gotta add one more thing before I get to that point. The one more thing that I found interesting in the text was it referred to heaven as like, okay, so it was referring to man's journey to heaven is what it was described. This book was describing, right? These texts and kind of the ascension process. And it said that heaven is located in what it called the sphere of Arulu. Now, Kev, what shape of the earth idea have we been talking about here since day one?
Yeah, the sphere.
And that's this concave cellular idea, right? We're not saying that's what it is. And Kev hasn't really done that research. I'm more presenting like, hey, that model seems to fit what I see and have experienced, and seems to make a little more sense than things like flat Earth. Now,
oh shit!
And the texts all kind of seem to point to this shit. So, in the video games, like, I'm not going to go down that path again, but so it's talking about the sphere of Arulu and how a man in this life lives his life in accordance of how to get in there. Now read my book. And see, like, if you'd had read my book up until now, you would see that information. You'd be like, holy motherfucking shit. And it would click. Back to the point I wanted to make. Now, who did we predict was going to be in the Super Bowl? Not only Taylor Swift at halftime. You called that one several months before, like that. I don't get into
that was
how
the last Super Bowl I called
that fucking thing. That call was insane, dude, insane. And the teams we had,
Yeah.
We had a two-peat of the Chiefs, but versus the 49ers this time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kev, can you tell me what number is 4 plus 9?
Let me do some math real quick. Okay, don't carry 1. I have to subtract. All right, so 13.
13.
1 and 3.
What's Taylor Swift's number, everybody? 13. So I want to. This is my conspiracy pick for the Super Bowl. I was gonna say because we did our at the beginning of the season, we did our kind of synopsis where we thought the season would end. Let's do another one now that the season is pretty much over.
Yeah, we know
everything is
in the
played out
playoffs.
almost exactly how we said it would. We said it would be exactly this. There would be a scrunch of the teams in there.
Oh Christ!
And a scrunch, I mean
There's half the league is in playoff contention right now.
Exactly. That's what I mean by the
half
scrunch.
the league is in playoff contention.
So it can go any which way
Any
it
which
wants.
way today.
Perfect recipe for chaos.
In the next
right?
3 hours, the truth will start revealing itself, but it won't even. It'll give you a tease. Everybody's going to have their own opinions, and everybody's going to be panicking. Mm-hmm. So everybody,
so what
discipline.
I'm thinking,
calm.
I'm going to stick with the Chiefs 49ers, and I think the 49ers are going to actually win because I think they're going to introduce this Taylor Swift rift. They're going to have Kelsey and her get married, but the Chiefs fans are going to kind of resent her because they're going to see her as this as this bad luck, good luck charm, right?
Yeah, it's all her fault.
But the number 13 goes in the 49ers' favor just because the 4 plus the 9. So I understand this is a little bit silly, but I do think that is one connection that is unconventional enough that most people will not connect it in that way. They'll think that if Taylor Swift and the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl against the Niners, that the Chiefs are going to win because Taylor Swift is there. But it's going to be the 49ers because of 13. Because of fuck the public and 13 just caught the ball over there at the same time I just said that. Yes! That kind of timing is what I'm talking about. So we'll see how that plays out, everybody. Oh, look, and they're going the 114 on the door.
What would happen?
114 on the door in the crime scene in the movie.
What would happen?
They're always playing on this number, y'all. The 114 was also, there was a story that my colleague sent me that was from a couple years ago. Some young kid that was like 13, 14 years old stabbed some girl that was like 13, 14 years old 114 times. It was like the most brutal murder type of thing you could have ever imagined. Like, how could you even stab somebody 114 times? There's not even enough room on their body.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm supposed to believe some 13-year-old kid that's like, I'm looking at him in court during the court thing, Kev, because she sent me this footage, and so I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, dude, this kid's acting. Like, I see this video titled the defendant gets emotional during the court case, so I click on it. I'm watching it, and I'm looking for him to do things that you'll see actors do to make themselves cry. Things like not blinking for a certain period of time and then looking at a light. Like looking at a light directly.
Yeah.
So what does he do right before he cries? He looks directly up into the light, you all. Into the light fixture.
Starts crying.
I'm like,
He's a good
oh
actor.
man.
He's
So
a hell of an
every
actor.
tell was there.
Give that kid an Emmy.
Yeah.
Get him a documentary.
Yep,
Get
that's
his own
right.
show.
That's right. Well, I mean, he basically has one. Insane, y'all, insane.
But so the Chiefs,
So-
let's say
And it's 10-3 over
let's
there.
say the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl against the Niners. The Niners beat the Chiefs. Travis Kelce gets traded to the Niners.
Ooh, now that is saucy.
Bring the
I
whole
like
trade him to 20 more teams in the next 6 years so Swift has impact on every team.
So they're
which he
closer
already
to
does.
LA.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna become an actor.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
retire
and
football.
he'll run for governor.
Yeah, because she's already
And
an actor.
she
He's
will
gonna
be
be an actor. They're
president
already both actors,
Trust me,
you know.
this thing will be running the country after this election.
Yeah.
She already have a say in it.
Oh my gosh.
She already know what's going on. So, yeah, Taylor. Shout out to Taylor Swift. You're still here, and you ain't leaving. She's got it.
Oh, Taylor Swift, you've got us all paying attention to your lust for a football player. Oh, fucking hell. When will you go away? Cause this fucking sucks. To have to talk about Taylor Swift every fucking football game. This has been crazy.
Every game since last season.
This has been fucking insane.
She was in the cast last season.
I can't believe I even cashed out mid-season. For anybody new, I'd cashed out on picking picks because I'm like, none of this feels right. It feels so bad. It's like I have to pay attention to what Taylor Swift is doing to have any chance at picking these football games. Like, it's just mental. This is madness. This is mind-numbing distraction.
That's the problem. I can't use intelligence to find out what the hell's going on because they have their own thing going on. I can't use statistics and analysis to try to formulate this shit because Taylor Swift has got the formula. You understand? She's got the formula, made up thing that's encrypted that I couldn't piece together apart with 1,000 hours of time on my hands. So as you were saying, picking the game, I quit. I said, I'm done. And I cashed out way too late. She got to me. She got the best of me. And I say, be gone, 2023. Be gone.
Taylor Swift. It's a phenomenon, y'all. I never thought we'd really see it come to this
fruition.
I think we just. I mean, really, this is kind of a rehash. That society is just what we're seeing is a psychosis of a mass hypnosis, and through television, probably Wi-Fi, frequency manipulation, light manipulation on the televisions, color arrangements, like they just know how to manipulate us, where it's like even some of us that are the most resistant to hypnotism can still be a little bit dictated by aesthetics and things we find appealing, sounds we find appealing, things we're attracted to. So we've mentioned a few times that there's got to be something like a supercomputer that's orchestrating all of this chaos. And one thing I wanted to say about that was, when I mean supercomputer, it's like, I think people might not quite understand, because they'll think of like this human programmed supercomputer where it's just really fast and can do all these processes at once, or like on the level of a quantum computer, where it's like, no, I think there's something else that's actually happening through this technology that we can't quite explain. For one, like just how we're able to just instantly see everything, even though all this information has to be rooted. Oh, it's just so fast. It's just so fast. Well,
because it's what you can see is what you're programmed, and everybody just buys into it. The majority buy into it.
Yeah.
But then they get programmed and tell their friends, and everybody fucking thinks that the Earth's flat and this is that. I always say, you know what? When I was traveling the world, when I was traveling the world, if I was in I was at a meeting or something, and I would have brought up, hey, I got something to bring to the table. The Earth is flat. They would have been like, get the fuck out of here.
You would have been like,
if I would have said the Earth is round, get the fuck out of here.
If you would have been like, there was this example where a flight made an emergency landing in this place. Like if I came up with a formula.
So
you're telling me they went 1,800 fucking miles out of the way to make an emergency land? Yeah.
I'm like, if you said something like that. But I'm like, hey, let's get NASA on speed dial. Let's break this down.
Yeah, let's
in this meeting, and
let's make
it was just one of those where
yeah,
there's all the conspiracies and the shit that, like you said, something microcomputer, some macro computer, some human computer, some infosec, all this stuff, this connection. I'd be curious why all the chaos.
I think.
What are they trying to do? We're coming election year. We got people in panic mode. We got the shit's going on. Something's going on.
I think there's like some sort of entity or being that exists in an energetic form, possibly. This is just one theory, that can manipulate or manifest itself through this technology that we've built. And when they put like computer chips or whatever it is, it's just a word for whatever they're putting in like the brains of clones, or if clones even have brains, how that works. It's able to like manifest almost a consciousness type of manner through it, to where it's able to sync all of this stuff up to where humans don't have to sit and program it, and they don't have to be like, okay, well, let me input these parameters, tell the supercomputer to run a test, like war games they did, like Ferris Bueller did in War Games.
Yeah,
where
he ran tests.
Right, they're just running tests on the supercomputer, theory simulations. It's like it's a little bit just more advanced than that. So I wanted to clear that up, and or if anybody was like, oh, it's quantum computers, they just don't work that way. So even your theory is kind of flawed. And it's like, well, not if the quantum computing technology that I'm theorizing here works in a way that you're not told about, right? Even, just soft example of how difficult, I guess, it can be to kind of wake some people up is like my boss is pretty aware and awake guy, like he's pretty sharp, but he's just not aware of a lot of information that would give him a lot different perspective on the world, type of thing. That can be a difficult challenge to kind of talk to that guy and explain, like, hey, there's a supercomputer probably running these NFL games. Like, these players probably sign on the dotted line, and it means, like, all right, you get chipped up. Or here's one that you might all find fun. The worm, the brain worm thing, right? I know that a lot of people have been seeing that on the internet, that these people get like worms put through their brains or whatever they're called, the Vril Society or some shit like that. Now, what if the computer chips are basically operated by the brain worms? It's like giving the brain worm an interface to control their host. And since they all have the chip in them, they're all networked, right? So that is also one way they could pull something like this off. If they could hook them up to something like a supercomputer that's being simulated out, they might even find it enjoyable. Because if you're a worm that can't do anything, being in a simulated football game would be like playing a video game. Wouldn't it? And what do we do? You guys? We sit there and we play video games. Everybody fucking loves it. Or they're playing fantasy football, or whatever, or they're playing poker.
They're playing Taylor Swift.
They're playing Taylor Swift. It's whatever it is, y'all. It's.
But they're not. The NFL is a perfect a league of puppets, a league controlled by a fucking super computer. That's just the NFL. That's in plain daylight. That's what you see. That's the NFL. And a lot of people don't see it that way, though. They look at it as, oh, it's on the up and all this shit.
Oh, yeah, there's no way all the players could be in on it, Kev.
There's not a possibility.
There's no way.
They pay too much money.
Somebody would talk.
The referees wouldn't be dare to do anything wrong. Somebody's got to be controlling it.
Somebody would talk, man. There's just no way.
No way.
There's no way they could keep 20,000 people at NASA from telling us that, the Earth is not a globe.
Maybe the NFL has their own, it's its own government. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, imagine in the government sector, if you're in a 4-layer tier deep, some sort of computer guy, right?
Okay.
And they're like, hey, this is what you're allowed to do, and here's what you can, NFL kind of like that. Their own network, their own program. Like it stops at the bottom, but the bottom is like 3 levels of the NFL. Like all the players are just all in on it. Nobody gives a fuck. But then you got the tier that everybody got to keep shut. So they might like put threats like this shit information gets out to anybody and we trace it back. What do you think would happen in the sector of a agency that says, hey, if you fucking go tell, like, you're fucking dead, like you're credible, you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So the NFL, I don't know how hamstringing they are. I don't know, but I've never really heard any stories where if it got out, they would like completely, like if this guy was at a bar, an NFL player, and he's getting drunk and he's high on coke and he's like, hey man, this season was fucking all scripted. Like they are, he's like trying to create this like reality that he knows, but he's trying to be a joke about it. Next thing you know, the NFL's like, that fucking guy. Like they get rid of all the evidence, and even if it comes out, where's the proof? So it's their own thing. They got their own. The NFL has their own thing, and Taylor Swift is the head of she's the helm of the agency, the NFLA,
just like
National Football League Agency. It's all it is, NFL, and it's there for everybody to buy into and entertainment. But it's very opinion entertainment, and it's very heartbreaking entertainment. Does this make sense? Because nobody wins in the shit. That's your Taylor Swift. That's it. And that's where you were saying how all that ties in. How do they have everybody on lockdown? If let's say you're in the Navy and you're going on a deployment and you're gonna fucking go do this, and then you did all the shit and you went and go tell somebody, do you think that's gonna get out to the national public? No, it's gonna go fucking somebody in the chain and they're gonna be like, get fucked. I don't know how much these guys have to report. Maybe they're monitored on everything that they do for fucking 25 years, and after that, it becomes declassified in the NFL's eyes. I don't know, but there's been plenty of classified documents that have been published that were deemed as like the NFL's corrupt. They've been involved shit. They've been all this goddamn. Now you got gambling. So you got the sin, evil gambling merged with NFL. People are going to see it. This is the year where people are going to reflect and be like, this shit is something's going on.
There was some court case, I think you might have talked about this before, when some lady sued the NFL and she lost because they said it's entertainment. I don't remember what exactly she sued for, but basically along the lines that she lost money because she's like, what, are these games are fixed or what? And they're like, well, it's fucking entertainment. We don't owe you a real game, so we don't have to answer.
And she tried to say that she had promised her kid the team was gonna win, or
something like that. And then she sued the NFL for something like that, and they're like, no, this is entertainment. Like,
well, that's why
somebody was talking about that. I thought you told. I saw it in a comment. Maybe I should look more into that, but I don't need to be convinced that it's rigged. Like, we're already beyond all that. But
a lot of people aren't.
It's augmenting that the public. The word is getting around. One thing I will say too is the shape of the earth thing. Is that word is getting around, and people who are catching on, like people who know COVID, like something's going on with that. Like a lot of them are catching wind of it too, and that like at this point they're just like, no, anything at this point wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Whether they know like the details behind it is maybe not so important, but I think a lot of people are coming in to find the details of that, and the shape thing is. I tell you, people, it really is one of the most important because so many of the details, and when it comes to recognizing the pattern in the chaos, the pattern of their lies, knowing the shape thing is, it's a big one because they drop hints to it all the time. So it's like you can see the pattern easier when you understand how big their lies are, and 20,000 people at NASA, they probably all are in on it, and if they're not, I mean, that's what you call a useful idiot, all right, because those do exist too, like, I was thinking about this thought crossed my mind earlier today, is when you have something like the legal system, and you have your tiers of the legal system. Well, when those tiers are structured by the top schools, the Ivy League schools, they all basically have a stat sheet, a plot sheet, a blueprint of the population of lawyers and judges, the available populace. So they can just put people wherever they want. and just manipulate it that way. It's like, it's so easy when you think about this place it's everything we were told is a fucking lie, and they've built this lie of a society up pre-planned. That's why it makes perfect sense to when you're trying to deconstruct, reverse engineer why things are the way they are today, and why everything seems so backwards and corrupt. It's because it was fucking built on corruption, you guys. It was built to just for the rug to be pulled out from underneath us whenever they want, for the sky to fucking fall, and us not to have any shelter.
Nope.
And I think that's one of the biggest things, dude. It's like the sky fucking falls, you guys. Like, there's probably like the Chicken Little thing is like, you know, I never thought in my life I'd be saying some shit like this, especially in a public forum place, because millions of people can have access to this recording right now, and it's like I'm here saying this, what I am. Like, Chicken Little was right, everybody. Well, fucking A. Probably. I'd put my money on it. I'd put my money on Chicken Little before I would any of you.
Yeah, it's
said in a joking manner, not a.
You know, you got to look at just something simple like here's kind of what transition to really freak people out. I think was the COVID obviously brought people. They trapped people. They controlled everything. And the people that said "fuck you," I'm gonna go against them. I'm gonna get my private jet and I'm gonna go fuck out of here, take my shit, and I'm gone. Those are another style of people that can just do what the fuck they want, right? But everybody else, like they narrowed it down to like how many people can we put under control and verify. And now they got everybody tracked that's online, that what they're spending on, and it just created this like and people that were having home births and like so everything was just one of these. And then you got to raise the kids in this shit, and then it became where. What's the next move? Well, the sky falling, that would be an interesting one, because goddamn, if I just all of a sudden saw that, I'm like, what's a contingency plan for this?
Just a whole bunch of ice start falling from the fucking sky, like big old, I think they call them mega cryometers. There's a word for it.
Yeah.
Big fucking ice chunks that fall out of the middle of nowhere.
Big ice chunks.
Now, one of the theories is that the chemtrails, you know, right? Chemtrails, aerosol injections. One of the theories is that these are actually keep maintaining the temperature of the ice barrier on the glass or whatever the firmament may be up there. Like, that's one of these theories. Yeah. And it's probably true. Now, we could argue that that's a good thing, that they're maintaining the temperature on there. Okay, but what happens when it gets all cold? Yep. And then they stop, you guys all beg them to stop the chemtrails and shit? You all beg for the fucking sky to fall, because then the temperature increase when the chemtrails are all gone.
And then it's
gonna melt. And then
creates an atmosphere of a permanent storm.
It creates a flood. That's where the mud floods probably come from.
And it just, I don't know, like, we'll just figure out one continent that could probably do that. You know what? Let's say they're out there in the fucking ice tundra somewhere, and they're creating like this fucking machine, like let's say you're going to shoot nuclear missiles, like North Korea. They got their system now where they said it can shoot like 30, whatever the mileage, and how accurate that is probably not. It's just a guesstimate, because when they do their tests,
it's probably a multiple of the number 13.
Probably magnifying the numbers, but maybe that'll happen someday. They'll just like, we can start controlling things with ice, like big fucking, like the size of an Amazon plant. We'll just drop these all over the place, and then you have that temperature control, and nobody will notice it, because all this shit just happens to happen. And now you have this globe
at once.
Now the whole now people are going to have to migrate to one area, and the government says, all right, shift everybody to the west, everybody to the south, and middle of the Midwest.
They'll have cover-up stories ready.
Now you got, 200 million people all migrating down south. When you have the south that's already migrating north, we're going to have fucking, war again?
Hey,
and that's just the territorial.
Speaking of this North and South war, the Civil War that we were taught about, what if that never happened? Do you think we all really fought a fucking war against the North versus South, against our family members that lived in the South versus North because of fucking slavery? Really, y'all? You really think that we did that? Like, went to actual war over it with each other? I don't fucking think so. I think that was a lie. I think it's a cover-up for something else that happened. Just like what we were talking about. And Kev knows firsthand from traveling the world how they contrive the news to fit whatever narrative they fucking want the people to believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you are from a different country than other than America, because Americans see, we talk and think like everybody just knows it has America in their mind, first thing in their mind, and that's their perspective of how everything should be. And like that people in other countries have the perspective like they want to be like Americans, and it's not like that, y'all. They get the news that America is so fucked up that they got their own kids are shooting up their schools, and they're like, wow, that's a problem we don't have. You know, they look at us at like kind of like a joke. You know, it's American culture gets knocked on hard these days. So
I
it's
see
like,
it overseas.
It
people
probably
overseas
always
think,
has been.
people have the perception America's gone crazy.
We have
we
been
don't want to
very
visit y'all
brainwashed
because
in
there's
this
too
country.
much shit going on. I'm like,
Well, they started in the schools. They do it in the schools. Let's think about this for just a second here. What do they condition us in the schools? They condition us into thinking this king, queen, and everybody else is just there.
tons.
And then what do they do at graduation again? They put you all in a garb that looks the same. There's nothing to differentiate any of you. Except for what? The ones that were like the smartest or graduated with honors. They get special stuff. Right? So you're conditioned heavily, and those are just very soft examples. I just don't want to belabor on any of that. Those are just soft examples to the point I want to make. I don't think that actually some of the history that we're being told about, like kings and queens existing, I think that a lot of that history might have actually been inserted. By families that wanted to be recognized, to be like, King John III, and the castles were actually probably served a different purpose, and all of that shit is probably a lie. Because I don't think with any sort of non-technology, like, olden days like that you can really control a population like they're saying you can. Like, they just have soldiers would just come around and collect your tariffs. It's like, no, you're just fucking conditioning us into thinking that's how it was. So we think we have it even better now.
But like I said, I always think before 1940 something, I'm kind of questioning a lot of things. Not a lot of things, majority of things. So
anything before the NSA was...
anything before, I don't know.
It was documented.
It could be the perception of anything 100 years ago was like, well, there's still people officially that are still alive, but who knows what they have to add to the, like changes. Maybe they saw something and they're like, wow, I figured out a way to live to be 130, but I never told anybody, because if I would have told the secret, they would have fucking, like, imagine that you're the person that lives and they're like, we can't get this out. Like, well, you're 142, you gotta act 108. We got it. Now they find out somebody can, and then those, who knows? But
imagine everyone this is nothing new to this channel. We've definitely referenced these things before. But imagine you're 1,000 years old and 42 years old. Like, a lot of these really amazing musicians, you think they've lived for fucking 30 years, and then they were just these rock gods that could just wail. Like, we can monkey see, monkey do, but like, to have, like, come on, y'all. Like, so much of it is suspect. A lot of them even admit it in their lyrics. Like, they are telling you what's going on. I've actually gone into some of that before.
Yeah.
I don't think it's hard to find. And it's not, you guys. Like, the fuck.
Fuck education system, history, all that nonsense.
I will, I know I've been talking about it for a while, planning on to do just more like small form and then small form things, like, and then actual videos where I'm reviewing songs, movies, news stories, stuff like that. I am almost getting set up for that. I need to kind of test out, like, if I'm going to use the background of my actual place, like my actual little camper studio, or if I'm going to put like a blanket up behind it or something. I'm just kind of thinking about some of those things. Whether I'm going to use 2 cameras, that type of thing. So just for the newcomers and the people that have been here, I do plan to do those things just to start putting out more content than just doing the Sportscast. So that's on the horizon. One of these days, Kev's going to get his new laptop, and we'll have his keyboard set up then. The keyboard that he got, it just doesn't have a speaker on it, which I don't think either of us really expected that one. I know, right? We could probably pipe it. I mean, we could do a few things, but
we'll figure out something. We gotta finally get through the season.
Week Sorry 18. About the ice cubes. I know that y'all can
Week 18.
hear that. I'm thirsty today, though.
Go Packers.
And I'm going to have to talk a lot. Good thing I brought a lot of fluids.
Go Bears.
I don't have any coffee, though, but it was early enough in the afternoon today, and I didn't have to work because it's Sunday. So I didn't bring any coffee. But I'm excited to have some tomorrow. I don't know if all of y'all are coffee people or tea people, but I went and did the kind of coffee challenge thing where I went to a local bistro. That's probably not the right word for it anyway, but they roast their own coffee there, and then they'll grind it up too. So it's like as fresh as I can get it.
Markups on coffee is amazing.
And gosh, it is really, really good compared to what you can buy in the store. A lot of stuff you can buy in the store, it's like they might be able to make it taste good, but it doesn't taste like good and fresh.
No, it's
so
jaded.
There's a good difference.
Everybody's jaded on that shit. But that starts from way before all that stuff. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
the coffee, the bistros. It's always good to support the local too. You know?
That's one of the things.
Fuck corporates.
Yeah.
Despite their mechanisms to make it happen.
Yeah, we might have a guest appearance here from Caleb, who works at an franchise that shall not be named.
Yeah, they're fucking in every airport.
I think that if you look at the logo, I think it's like it's like this, like 2 fingers, like a gun, like pointed to their head.
Yeah.
Like Starbucks, you're just like aiming and pointing a gun at your head.
It's the psyops thing.
I was like, I double took because I drove right by it. There's one right by Marco's.
Shit, there's 300. Within I don't know, 100 miles? They're everywhere.
He's right about that. Like Starbucks is like the worm. Starbucks is worse than Microsoft if you think about it. I mean, it pretty much is Microsoft, y'all. They're both in the same exact area. Microsoft, Amazon, Starbucks. What else? What other chains are from there? I don't really care that much to dredge anymore up.
Starbucks.
Now, see, this red zone thing is interesting because it really cuts out so much of the bullshit.
Yeah, let's get a check in on the old red zone and see what they're yelling about.
Even though this is definitely not like a red zone thing.
Yeah.
Because they're not even close to the red zone.
Well, the kick like this type of too. This is Green Bay, go. Oh. What is that?
Wait. But if he grabbed it, wait, it can't go over?
Oh, that's Usher's song too. Yeah.
What do they mean it can't go over? The ball can't go over the end zone? They have to get to it first?
Yeah, you have to get it before it goes out.
Oh, that's duh. I don't know if it used to be that way, but
No, they changed the whole fucking. I told you every kick is in the end zone. Have you noticed that in this year? Like nobody kicks to the 8-yard line unless they're like trying to come back to do something. They have this all.
oh,
You know
that's
why I
so
think
stupid. So they
it
can't
is.
jump in there and throw it back
No,
anymore.
no.
That is like
No.
what?
And then
That's
if
one
the-
of the coolest.
And
things.
then it could ultimately turn into a safety in that situation. Do you know how that? You know, like if the.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so confusing
How
how
they really screw us over on anything fun.
You know why they do that is because what they want to do is when the kicker kicks off and it goes out of the end zone and they just automatically start on the 25-yard line, they can control the game more if they can just start it from the very beginning, unless some guy keeps fucking running all over the place. Now they're like, whoa.
It's less for a computer to have to simulate.
They're gonna
You
have
can
their
get more
hiccups though.
You can get more guaranteed
But
outcomes.
if you got 90% of the kicks coming right at the 25,
Yep.
maybe throw some flags there, maybe move it to the 35, maybe bring it back to the 15.
You can manipulate
Maybe
the clock more
fucking
if you want to.
Mix the. You ask the AI, hey, how do I make this play seem something? And it goes, "Brrr," and then it's like, okay, here's how you do it.
Yeah. I'm
Like
sure
the
you
playbook.
can. I'm sure you can. When
And then they got another contingency plan in case that one fails. There's a backup.
Yeah, when we really zoom out, we could imagine that, they've have a computing technology that is like millions of years old. Hundreds of thousands of years. Think about things like that, y'all.
It's scary.
And then think on it from a level where, again, like, it's probably not just humans. Like, there's probably, like, all things on a consciousness level have thoughts and thought patterns and then thought behaviors. Like dogs, cats. Like, now why can't, something else like a dolphin or, other things have tested to be very highly intelligent. Why can't there be other things that I don't know, imagine like a talking unicorn just to make it up. I don't know, imagine something in your head. Because how would I know? I can't give you like a perfect example. Like, you have ancient fairy tales shit, like folklore, like elves and centaurs, like horse people or
yeah, the horses.
snake people.
Snake people, all the
use your fucking imagination.
Yeah,
Brain worms.
something.
Why can't those things be like, why can't here's one thing. I've heard that there's like they call them rock people. They're like really little, and they like live on like the shores of lakes and stuff, but they're just like really little or something. I've heard some shit like that. But imagine that, maybe even on a smaller scale, even but they're like a thriving civilization. I mean,
Maybe
you could say
maybe they live out in the tundras of the islands somewhere.
of the Antarctic. Maybe
Maybe
that's where the
maybe
giants
they're out
are.
in Antarctica somewhere.
Maybe that's where they keep all the large-scale excavation equipment. Maybe that's underground even.
I don't know.
And then they just drive it up here, cut down all the fucking trees, level it all off. You get a big old wash gully called the Grand Canyon. And then you tell people, oh, the Grand Canyon was formed over millions of years. And it was formed over like fucking 20 days or some shit. I don't know. How long would it take for large scale excavation to come over here, clear the whole motherfucking thing off, put up a couple mountain ranges on each side of the place, make up some fucking history? I mean, come on! That's exactly what happened
What about this
here.
one? They're just gonna fill in the Grand Canyon. Just fill it all in.
Just fill it in. Like, how many
But,
sandbags will it take?
The only thing that I was told about Antarctica was
We won't have they'll take one of the mountain ranges and they'll fill in.
I was asked this question. They go, we have a travel opening over in and they said it's continent, and I'm like, okay, which continent? I've been to 6 continents. Which one? I want. At that time, I was right after 9/11. I'd been on South Korea and a few other one other continent, but this was just early. So when I got proposed with, they said, are you teachable and trainable? And I said, absolutely.
Of course.
And they're like, okay, we'll call you 9 a.m. the next morning, and let you know. Because they're like, can you go for however long? I said, absolutely. What do you need me to do? And I didn't get to go, didn't get any more details because I wanted to know something. Because I'm like, damn, I want to know what's going on in Antarctica. Because it was just like, I'm like, who the fuck goes? Nobody go. You can't even go there unless you're like part of a research or doing something.
Or some form of the military.
Some form of the government, some form of weather pattern, but there's all these positions that they had I mean, I could have been doing anything, but I ended up going to Singapore instead. So I got to see the Singapore, and that's right. I covered all the continents in the United States except Antarctica, but I had the opportunity. So I kind of put that as like, you know what? Nobody else gets those opportunities.
Yeah, dude.
And you've ran into people that were
so I
doing something, and I'm like, well, there's people that are, because some people think out there like nobody's in Antarctica. It's all fugazi. It's all made up. It's all this.
You'll hear people all the time on
if you can't go there, it's not true.
On the internet, they'll claim like, oh, you can just book a cruise to go on down there, and it's like,
no.
You can just.
Do you know how big Antarctica is? You're on like a piece. You're like on a one. You're going to see like whatever.
I don't know how big it is.
I don't either. That's the other thing.
I have no idea.
You got to get out. We got to get like if you wanted to really do it, you would have to create like this corporation. And it would cost you hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe some Elon Musk type of stuff. But you have the equipment where you can go navigate, but you're in the territory waters where they'll just shoot you. It's like going to Area 51. Can you really just navigate? Yeah. We could navigate our way to Area 51 with technology, but we're going to get shot down. We're not going to get anywhere. Same thing with that. I mean, I don't know if Antarctica is a protected continent because there's no insects. There's just stuff up there that nobody will ever know. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I have the opportunity, I'm going to jump on board. If I ever get something, I'm going to be. I'm going.
Yeah, I'd take the opportunity too.
Go to Antarctica. So, who knows what's going on? But
that'd be interesting.
Grand Canyon. But that was what they said. Are you teachable and trainable? And I said, absolutely. And they said, you're going to Singapore. I said, all right. And I was like, hey, I'm going to fucking one of the most humid places on the planet, Singapore. Who the fuck went to Singapore? I hadn't. I'm like, I'll go. I just heard the laws are really strict. And then when I got there, I had to adapt to like the culture. And it was just a different, that's where I started seeing like, holy shit. This is not America. What the fuck? What is going on here? And then you get to see the dark side of the goods and the bads of all the country. And then I tried to get back to Antarctica after that. And nope. I said, that's okay. I'll go everywhere else. Like I said, my thing, because I could have went to Antarctica and probably never got to go to Singapore and then all these other continents. But it worked out. It worked out. Shout out to Singapore. It's a human place on the planet.
That sounds interesting.
Very friendly, too. Very friendly.
I would think so.
Very friendly. Loved Americans.
Yeah, see, we...
Very safe.
We never get the good, clear view of the rest of the world until you go there and you
I ain't talking going on vacation. I lived there in the culture. I got to experience. I got to meet all the people, and I got to get to know what is their culture like, and I got to learn some of the language, and I got to learn that what we do in America would never do in that country, and things that they do, we'd never do. Something simple as like the way they...
Dog meat?
All that stuff. Just everything you can think of.
It's probably the biggest one. Maybe even horse meat.
Dogs, the bug.
Oh, bugs.
The bug.
They eat bugs?
The carts and... Yeah, they all that. It's just part of their culture. And
okay.
But it was very safe, and
I mean,
that was
I'm
my
not
first
knocking
taste of
that.
South. I got to see the South.
Don't knock until you try it, type of thing. I mean, cats eat bugs, like dogs eat bugs.
But just the different culture ways of what they do and what we do, it's complete. Their party atmosphere is so much better than America. Ours is just so shit. Like our party, like there is all the same.
Yeah.
Outdoor.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have outdoors, but like it ain't like Las Vegas party.
I've never liked American bars. Never really liked them.
And they loved American music because it was all the bars and it were all American shit, all English. American DJ shit, all American. This was like right after 9/11. So look at the wave of like all the music that changed from like 9/11 to like 2010.
Oh yeah.
it was all the countries were on board. Now Taylor Swift, I guarantee you over there she's big time.
Yeah, interesting.
She has concerts over in Singapore. I know that because I've seen it on the global list. I'm like, Taylor Swift's going to Singapore, and then she's going to Japan, and then she's coming back to the Super Bowl. But
She's got 13 clones of her.
She got 13.
Two for every continent.
2 for every continent.
Except Antarctica. That's where the real one is.
Yep, that's where she's frozen. She's
where the main
frozen,
copy
like
is.
the Little Mermaid. They're just making hundreds. They're gonna make her that will live forever, like Kim Jong-un. He's got like all these whatever theories where he wants to like live forever. Like whatever is wrong with his body, he's just gonna have it like it's gonna be like a robot, but his brain, I don't know, it doesn't want to. I don't know what his thought is, but it's North Korea. Never know what the fuck they're up to with their views, because God, there's no electricity and like shit. That's like another part of the world nobody ever sees.
Yeah,
you'll never see North. I've been to fucking DMC.
Yeah,
I've been to the DMC. I sat there. I said, if I step my foot over this line, they could kill me.
Maybe it's
or
paradise.
hold me in contempt. But I saw there's no electricity over there. It's dark. You can't see it. So Taylor Swift could be on that, that list of live forever. Like the Matrix shit, bro. Like I've been talking this Matrix shit. It's back in the. I've been saying people are getting a taste of what the Matrix is in their corporate job lives. They've seen it, and that's just one example of how it's overtaking everything. And Taylor Swift's involved in all that too, but people can't break out of it, and when they do, they're terrified. So I definitely see something's going on with Taylor Swift and living forever. Like AI.
Did you just say Taylor Swift's gonna live forever through AI?
But really?
I haven't dug any deeper on her.
It's just.
I just think it was interesting how that number 13 came up so much, and even in the emerald tablets of Thor, of Thoth or whatever it was, Thoth.
Yeah.
Again, the 13. Is that predicting a 49ers Super Bowl? As the 49ers are over there in 2013 over the Rams so far.
13 Rams.
Wait. What movie is that right there? I've seen it before.
Fighter.
The Fighter.
Black Whelp. Boogie Nights. Dirk Diggler.
You know, I watched a movie called Influencer, and this social media influencer goes to some foreign country, and all she does is sit by the pool and doesn't really talk to anybody. And then one day she gets approached by this gal, and this gal ends up, she's like, I'm gonna show you around, take you out for a surprise. Takes her on this boat out to this island, fucking leaves her on the island, and left on the boat. Just like, okay, nobody knows about this island, it's deserted, have fun not surviving. Then, long story short, I'm going to ruin the movie for everybody. So she ends up going back to the island after the boyfriend, and just kind of, I don't know, it's sort of a shit show of a movie in some ways, but it's just kind of interesting and suspenseful, because you know this chick is like on this island and you don't know if she's like alive or anything. And then the gal who left the lady on the island goes back to check on her. gets hit over the head with a shovel,
Dead.
and then left on the island just like she left other people. So it was kind of a very interesting. But your story about Singapore and going to, I think she was in Thailand.
Oh, Thailand.
And traveling, it reminded me of that.
I've been to, God, I haven't added it up completely, but I just in Europe, just to give you an idea, in Europe, let me think.
Well, there's so many places
Hold
to go
on,
in
yeah,
Europe.
like how many, I'm trying to break this down real quick, and I did,
There's like 20?
I lived on
countries?
6 continents. There's 44 European countries.
44, okay.
Might be like 40, but 4 of them are like like there's the Russia's
Yeah.
getting like we don't know what it's European. It changes every year. It seems like some jurisdiction like Czech
Right.
Republic is not Czechoslovakia.
Is Puerto Rico part of the United
Yeah, like
States?
Guam,
or not? Like,
all that type of stuff. So 44 European countries. I visited 32 of them, and I lived in 6 different European countries, and I had to gasp how the European culture was. That was a big wake up. I was 20? So I went to Singapore, did some other things, and then came back to the U.S., did some stuff, and then I got over in Europe. So. The drinking and the no speed limits was an interesting one. The Autobahn languages, lifestyles, and the similar freedoms as Americans. It's just in Germany. It was run by a former chancellor, Angela Merkel. They loved her. She was She was what Donald Trump is like.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. But Germans have that. The angrier, the nicer they sound, more they yell, like they sound very direct. They don't fuck around. The country is very, very cultured. They love soccer, but their chancellor, Angela Merkel. I asked, how you don't have a woman just like running this show and she's doing a great job? They wanted to keep her in forever. Like you can be chancellor for however long. She just said, I'm retiring, whatever. And then it was, but yeah, it's like 2005, I was in Germany. And that's when I found, she just got announced as the chancellor. And I was like, y'all got a female running this shit. Holy fuck. And you got legalized prostitution and you got legalized drugs. You all got this shit together. 16 to drink? What the fuck? I was trying to comprehend how the culture was. I was shocked, dude. I was like 3 years old and I'm going to Germany. And I was like, this is fucking great. And, but then, just the healthcare and education, all that stuff, that's where I started realizing how different it was.
Yeah.
Just Germany, not visiting, not going to Oktoberfest, not visiting for fucking 7 days, or I'm talking living. So I saw 32 of the European countries. I saw them all. Except the other ones were like, you couldn't go because there was like terrorist threats in Ukraine.
Oh.
I couldn't go to, Ukraine was off limits for like a year and a half for U.S. citizens. It wasn't like, it was because you were the NATO alliance or some shit going on. That was the only reason why. I was like, but if I wanted to, I'd probably go back and visit some of the, but it's so changed in that long time. It's been 20 fucking years. So after 9/11, I went to Europe and then that's right. And then expanded all over the world. I was like, holy shit. I want to go fucking live in Asia. I want to go to Japan and ready to roll.
Sweet.
So yeah, I figured my travel miles that I had worldwide, I probably, if I added it up, I'd break it down if I could, but roughly I'd say I probably had like 20 round trip tickets free on my miles because I ran up miles, Hamburg, Germany, flying to wherever. I mean, I was flying.
Wow.
Stamp passports and.
That's a lot of flying.
I know, so I got to learn all that fucking shit. And Germany, man, I used to go to Club Ibiza when I'm in Spain. Used to go down there for a few days and check it out. And just the European countries, every country, Switzerland, the big Alps with the mountains. It's like you see it in a picture, but until you've been through there, you're on like a rain trail system, and the way they travel is so. It's like what Hitler did. He built those autobahns for all that And now you can get on there and do unlimited speed limit. And those cars are made over there, and you can go 250 kilometers and not die.
Yeah.
Meaning you do that in America, you're dead. So, just a little culture reference there.
Nice.
Go visit Europe, y'all, but yeah. So much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
That's...
It's a socialist country, so they make it work. That's the interesting thing.
It's always good to
It's
hear.
like 38 million people live in Germany. 38 million, and they're all on socialist. They're all, I mean, they get everything taken care of. And
It's always...
but if you're a worker over there, like if you are like not an American contract or anything working, if you're like a citizen in Germany and you work for BMW and you're on the plant, whatever you make, 55% of that goes to out the door. So, but not only that, the man is basically the worker, the woman stays at home. It's old tradition, old school. But they get everything free, meaning like they have no bills.
Yeah, interesting.
And they drink like fishes, but that's 38 million people. We could do that in one state and make that happen. Everybody pays 56% in your taxes. But but over there, they don't have the money like we do. They have the Deutschmark. They have their own currency, obviously.
Right.
But their average household income is probably like equal to, I don't know, 26,000 US dollars. But they have zero debt, meaning there's like...
Yeah, they don't have to pay.
They don't pay anything.
Those.
No medical. Everything's 100% taken care of. And that's where you physically have 26,000 in cash to do the fuck you want to. And that's pretty in a country where it's cheap, and it's not expensive living home. There's bazillionaires that live there, but that's in a whole nother, that's like a planet differently.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even notice Germany. Germany's old school.
That's really interesting. How's the poverty level?
No, it's homeless. You can't be homeless there either. It's illegal.
Awesome.
They arrest you and they put you in like an apartment.
Are you?
And that's paid for by. That's because the citizens say we don't want homeless people. They're like, okay, we're going to tax the fuck out of this.
So we have a system to get rid of homelessness, but we don't do it because...
But it's 38 million people. We can do 38 million people in New York City. I'm sorry, that's not Tokyo's the size of about 38 million travelers.
So it's a socialist.
But it's a socialist. It's the first country that I had met.
That it works.
It fucking works, bro. I was like, it is, and they're hard workers. They're hard workers. They work 12-hour fucking days. They have like one day off, and they drink and they party, and they just all love the fucking.
That kind of sounds
festivals.
like shitty though, like 12-hour days. And
Well, that's just the work. That's their economy. They work, and they party hard, and they just.
What the fuck?
And they're old school.
I don't want to work that much.
I know you don't.
12 hours?
Well, that's if you're like a German, you work at a factory. It might be less, but.
Yeah, that's
But they're doctor. But the other thing is, the doctors they don't make like what we would make here. They're not making like 300,000 as a radio or whatever the medical field is. They're probably making, I don't know, 75,000, but they have no bills. So it's like equivalent to making 250,000 a year as a doctor, but you got 115,000 of that is taxes and all this other bullshit.
Yeah,
but we're going to tax your medical too, so now you're fucked if you have anything medical. But in Germany, our medical system's a joke because I've asked people in Germany. I remember asking, what do you think about healthcare? Y'all have it free. You love it? Absolutely. And they said, y'all in America, they said it's scam. They call it the American scam. It's not the opportunity.
Yeah, right.
They specifically were talking how the healthcare, because they said you have too many people, obviously. And I said, yeah, you got 38 million. You got 338 million. We can fix a problem in one location, but everybody else is going to be pissed off. Because how are you going to get everybody on board? Angela Merkel's like, fuck you all. And she was a woman in charge telling the men get to work. 56% of your pay is paying for everybody else. Okay. Well, you going to fight her? She's a chancellor. It ain't like they can't just kick her out. She did wonders for that country. Absolutely. And it still works today.
That's so interesting. I'm really intrigued by that. I'm gonna have to do.
And their auto industry is like it's so effective, and all the European cars. And
I wonder what their news is like, and like I just kind of wonder about. That brings a lot of questions to my head. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I was over there for fucking Germany, 5 years total. Rob?
Is there anywhere else that it kind of works that, like, maybe not as well as it does there, but it kind of works? Japan.
When I was in Japan, lived there.
Like low poverty, still illegal to be homeless type of thing there, or is that?
Yeah, Tokyo. You're not going to find homeless people. Like, there's too many people. They just have housing take care of you. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's not like Europe. It's just see, the difference is you got more families that live together, and I don't know, subsidizes homes where like everything in our country is so spaced out. Over there, everything's so compact, and but the medical no different. Like, it's all that stuff in South Korea, Thailand. When I was in Thailand, they don't have like healthcare there. They just have a doctor that's works there in a little tent. But they have actually a hospital for emergencies. But if you had something wrong with you, like, if I'd fly from a country and I wouldn't feel well, I'd just go and I'd pay him like $6 or $10 US, and he'd be like, okay, well, here you don't have to go to the ER. So it's kind of different than America, because you have to go through all this process and then find out, $1,800 later it was just that. And oh, and by the way, the doctor visit said an hour and a half, that was $600. Oh, you saw him for 6 seconds, so that just justifies the
right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, Canada's like that.
Ooh, looks like Green Bay might win that one down there. That's one's approaching the end of the game anyway. I guess we're starting to get into the fourth quarter with most of these games. Because we're watching them all like differently than we have in the past. We can't really call out any flags or things about the actual game, because it's just almost all end zone plays, which is really interesting. I didn't know that that's what ESPN Red Zone actually was. Sorry, not to. I suppose it'll segue off of the traveling thing for a moment.
Yeah, traveling, man. There's so many stories in so many countries, so many persons. It's just so much fun.
I want to let that resonate.
We had a lot of training involved. Obviously, if you're going to live in a country, it ain't like you're going to visit for 2.5, 3 weeks. You might get a visa, tourist stamp, but you don't really have to depend on the local laws, the customs, and courtesies of these countries. Because if you're just there, you're just a dumb American tourist and you fucked up. But if you live there and you have like a stamp where like you have to apply by the laws, that's where you have to learn. You had to learn everything. So, which was good, because you can. I still use a lot of I used because the big thing was if you're going to get kidnapped, because they love fucking terrorist groups going to start taking Americans. Journalists were a big target over there.
I bet.
Journalists, bro.
Probably
journalists, guys that go into the fucking the people that are journalists that are taking pictures of war shit.
Right.
Like they could take them in hostage. ISIS was a big deal. That was a big problem. But anybody that was in a country and they're like, you better fucking
trying to take pictures, trying to write a story. No, they have to control the history and control the narrative as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like when you live in a completely fabricated society like we do, where the history's all bullshit, you have to do these things, like control what pictures people can take, especially in today's atmosphere where it's like anybody with his fucking cell phone can take a picture and video and then go run and tell their friends. It's not necessarily like the days of the past where they could control the narrative so much through one school book. Mm-hmm. Those were the only pictures you would see of something.
Yeah.
Now it's like you hop online and sure, you see a lot more pictures, but it's like the point is the difference between the history and what people can go and take a picture in real life and relay to you on the phone. For example, last episode we were talking about the field goals being completely scripted and controlled by some form of remote control, ball control, or object control technology. We were talking about that. Sorry, the Simpsons thing just popped in my head, and I wanted to mention that too, because we didn't talk about that last time. Gosh, what was I just saying, Kev? I gotta merge two ideas here. I was talking before I said the remote control technology.
Yeah, that's all fixed.
How it was all fixed, scripted.
Scripted. I don't know, man.
The field goals.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? What point was I talking about the field
The
goals?
fucking field goals.
Jeez.
The magnetron.
Anyway, I'll just continue with the Simpsons one. Okay, so my brain went to the Simpsons thing because Kev showed me this, you showed me this clip of the Simpsons episode a while back where did they have disc golf in it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I saw an episode of that was released, and so it must have been a recent episode of the Simpsons.
I think it was.
Because the disc golf podcast was just talking about it too. So I saw the episode, and then later on, the disc golf people were talking about it, and I was like, it reminded me of you telling me about it. So I'm trying to connect all these things, and then while I was watching it, Bart and Homer, they're competing in a whole bunch of competitions, and they're fixing and rigging each one of them.
Yep.
And when I watched the episode, because you had just showed me a clip, when I watched the whole episode, they were doing all of the major sporting events that we're seeing, like pool and bean bags, disc golf, and the point it was some other competitions, whatever. Watch the episode if y'all are interested in seeing exactly it, but it was like they were hiding it again, using the Simpsons again to hide in plain sight that all of these sporting events that you're seeing on television now that are getting more funding and becoming more popular are they're all being manipulated. They're all being controlled.
Family Guy
and
does
rigged.
that too. They go against the grain, and it's fucking great.
Yeah, you guys.
Yes.
It was right in plain sight.
Absolutely.
And so then the disc golf people were talking about it, and
all rigged. It's all rigged.
I think that actually while they talked about that, they actually talked they even said they used the words they don't let them. You're letting them onto the script now. He said he used the exact word. It was the guy. Now it's all coming back to me, these details. It was the guy that's local from here, Ezra Aderhold. He's from Aberdeen, which is where I was born. He was the one who said it. He was the one who's like, oh, yeah, now that you got to go on to the script, you guys, because they were talking about that holy shot from James Conrad a few years ago, that it was this fucking insane no-chance shot just goes in, and it pushes this playoff where it was it just threw it was the chaos. It was this pattern of chaos,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So maintaining the theme here of the title, trying to connect. I told you guys, this one's going to be an interesting one because so much stuff happened, all those little details. I didn't before we even started this, Kev, I didn't even remember that goddamn Simpsons episode bit, but somehow we ended up here, and I'm telling you about it. So anyway, I just tell you that because it was after we had talked about it, then things unfold in reality around us that just verify what we just said. So it's that synchronicity just coming through to be yeah. They're even showing it. It's to the point where they're even showing it on The Simpsons.
Of course. That's one thing that it's just one of those. Somebody's got the power to fucking give away how is it? They can give away enough information where people look at it differently, like the pattern he was talking, but then they'd still they're jaded by the idea of like, well, how could that possibly
Right,
be?
it's too big.
It's not possible.
How could 20,000
How
people
could
at NASA all be lying?
How could that be?
All of those scientists and astronomers and, oh my God, all those football players, no, it's not possible.
You know, over the
Remind me to talk about basketball later.
the damn controlled opposition. But that's like, you know, it's, man, there's such a rabbit hole fucking I could dig into that I'm like, it's fucking out of the realm of comprehension.
Right, like
fucking Matrix motherfuckers, some Matrix shit. And then once you come to a pattern conclusion and you see the pattern, you're like, holy fuck. But then it's terrifying because some people don't want to see that shit. And they're like, they'll be fucking.
It messes with their
They don't know
grip on reality.
Because
I guess some people
reality
do
is
struggle with that.
the Matrix that majority of the people that are living in, they can't see past a certain level. And that's fine. We don't want everybody seeing past the level because then everybody fucking do whatever the fuck they want. We don't need that because the control is everything's just controlled by the top oppositions. And, you know, even over in Asia, I saw how Asia was controlled by their media. Like their sites, you can't, like China, you ain't finding an NFL score on fucking the China internet. You're not finding anything outside of China besides what's going on in China. In North Korea, you only watch what's going on in North Korea. They don't know anything on the outside world. But
Interesting.
yeah, it was just, and over there their controlled ops or their control is like their drug laws, the human trafficking, the third world stuff like that. That they have a different controlled opposition. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
And I got to see firsthand all the differences in the cultures and the way they do things. And I'm like, you know what? If a normal person in America that has no idea what the fuck that they're doing, and their intention is to, I'm going to go over to like Southwest Asia and I'm going to fucking, I don't know, I want to get illegal shit, meaning whatever they want they could get. But it's something as simple as like, I don't know, they want to go there for sex trafficking. Let's just say that's an example, because that happens in third world countries. There's warning signs that it goes on, and it's part of their culture. It's, but that individual, if they don't have any clue what's going on, next thing you know, they're like held under sextortion. They're locked up. They don't know what the fuck's going on, and then it's like a story piece that they could use as is acceptable there. As acceptable it is, but if you're not in the realm of the government that's controlled ops, you can do what the fuck you want. But if you come on fucking America, like you can start controlling shit that we got already taken care of, now you're made an example of. And that's the unfortunate part, because there's just certain parts of the world that you can do what the fuck you want, but if the government says, hey, we need to make an example out of this to keep people under the control. So Europe legalized prostitution. So you gotta look at it from a different angle. Why can a woman in Europe sell her body legally, make money, make a lot of fucking money, but a woman in America, it's like, that's, I don't know, that's human trafficking.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, just in the definition of government, they're keeping the people's mentality governed.
Very, very, and it's how it is. China's a big one because they just, there's so much, I don't know, man. After seeing 6 different continents and truly trying to digress it all, I really can't digress it all because it's too much to be like, well, what the fuck?
What he's saying, in summary, for anybody who wants to put it into just a few words, is that controlled opposition in terms of Chinese or American or Australian, European, it's controlled opposition can be cultural, which can just, I think that's putting it in a real nice nutshell.
And it's just like,
nice and roasted.
Money talks and bullshit takes the bus in third world countries. That's how it works. You fucking have money, you can get your way out of shit just because they're like, well, they're mafia run, or like they're organized crimes that are all over these countries that I mean, they kind of had their own, like, in America, we have the mob, the mafia. Everybody now knows that's sort of like a has-been history, sort of like, it was there. Do they do it now? I don't think they, like, just make people disappear because of fucking whatever the mafia does. I don't know. I do believe that they're involved in the NFL.
They just finally own enough strip malls and judges and side parlors and restaurants.
Now they're okay. Nobody fucks with them. The government says, hey, we figured them out, leave them alone. But in other countries like Japan, the Yakuza, they're a well-known outfit. Like, they're like fucking people in Japan where if you have a bunch of tattoos, you're labeled as like a bike leader gang.
Sure,
in America, like the Hell's Angels.
Like if you got a bunch of tattoos and
like think of all the criminal. Think about the criminal entities that exist that are legal.
Yeah.
Everybody looks the other way. Same thing over in other countries. They all have their own little outfits, and then those aren't necessary for, like, I would say, terrorist organizations. That's just more of like their country that just says, hey, we're going to leave this up to this mob guys. They're just going to let them pay their whatever. They're going to run the legal sex trade. They're going to run this. They're going to run the drugs. They're going to let them do what they want. But if anybody comes involved, now they got their own ways of handling things. So I got to see just the shit, man. That's all I can say. I got to see the fucking shit of the world. And it also made me be like, holy shit, America's not a bad fucking place. We just have this fucking entitlement. Holy fuck.
Being very misled.
And it's all becoming this out of spiral contamination on this culture. And it's becoming, like I said, this year is going to be the year. It's election year. There's a lot of shit going on.
Oh, yeah. The pattern in the chaos, everyone. So, we're going to be on it all year.
For sure.
Letting you know. Here's the pattern. I'm going to get into that. That's going to, the pattern is one thing, like in the movies I watch. I watch a lot of movies, go through just to see all the brainwash that I never saw, and now I see the patterns. Now I understand why society is the way it is, why people think the way they do.
Man, I used to see that whole news thing when I'd leave Germany and something would go on, and I'd get back into like the United States and I'd read the paper and I'm like, who wrote this shit? I just came from that country. What the fuck are they talking about? Well, there you go, because other countries rewrite their shit. When 9/11 happened, whatever fucking went on, they probably didn't have any idea for like months exactly what happened. Everything was just locked down. But when shit just happened recently over in Syria, Gaza, all that.
Okay.
So what our 9/11 is similar to that, but we don't see it from a viewpoint. We only saw the magnitude of what happened. Everything else is just what it is. But over there, it's still like it's 9/11. Like, we fucking took how many years to fucking get over? I mean, not get over, but to change as a country, to try to realize, holy shit, you can't get on an airplane anymore with anything, And then people fucking realize that's the truth. Stop fucking trying to fucking make your own fucking rules. That's what, from that side of the sector where I got to see all the different angles of all this shit, and just like, man, it's fucking bananas. So, yeah, America's not a bad place to be, y'all. It really isn't. You make it what it is. That's all I can. Go fucking live overseas fucking a week and see how you like it. You're gonna fucking dread it.
I know a lot of people think Europe is so glamorous, but it's like,
it's
a lot of it's about the same.
It is similar in a lot of technology. The one thing that is all around the world, I'll remember this, in all the 6 continents, they all have this in common. They learned their languages mostly off of the show Friends. America, the land of the opportunity. For them, that is truthful. That is like feelings when people say, we came to America to get... They don't realize what's going on over there. And when I lived over there, I'm like, you know what? If I was in this, I had the freedom to... I knew that I wasn't going to live there. If I wanted to, I probably could have. But I'm like, fuck that. I want to just travel and see everything I possibly can, and then make a determination before I'm like, hey, you know what? Because I always thought it'd be cool. Like, I don't know. I had like this idea where if I could just make enough money by the time I'm 25, I could find a country where $8,000 is like you're living like a king. So I'm like, hey, the Philippines. So I had this whole idea before I went to Asia. But then when I got over there, I'm like, I'd go fucking insane because island fever. The people are okay, but it's eventually you're in that, you are now, you give up your U.S. citizenship in some situations, in some countries, like you ain't never getting it back. So you're like, that's where, there's people that do it though. That's their dream. Like fucking they go, but until you've seen it, man, I always tell people, there's people that do it, hey, congratulations, you did it. There's people that hike through the United States that's all they do. They live on the grid. They live off the grid. But that's the only other thing. If I ever wanted to completely try to get off the grid, I'd have to, I'd go find a country that, like, I don't know, what country would I go? Like somewhere in Spain, maybe, what's in the very top of Africa. It's very rich, like Belize or some sort of like a territory where it's rich assholes. They got boats and Andrew Tate's like the mayor and he's running the shit. So that's my advice is go get a taste of the world and see how much you miss America. Because I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, and I've seen patriots that would be like in the Philippines, like own these bars and they're like Vietnam vets and shit, and they said, I ain't ever going back to America. They had the mindset, and that's their mindset. That's great. They ain't never gonna come, because if they came back to America, there'd be a threat on society. Meaning, I ain't taking your shit, you cocksuckers. Well, you say that, you go to jail. But Thailand, it's like, well, fuck it, you got your own thing. So that's an example. So I got to see people that have done it, but ultimately, it's nah, man. Fuck that. No. I'm thinking of a country that would be beneficial just to go live. No, like none of them. They were fun. That was it.
That's
learning.
Let that be a lesson on information. I think a lot of Americans and a lot of people, we make this assumption that if it's in a history book or if you've read it in a book somewhere, that it's true. And it's like, no. Because it's just the point I'm trying to make in the relation to your story is we get told and we hear so many things on the television or from actors, portrayed through social media, through these influencers that do any little traveling, like you're saying, they're tourists basically, and then we get this impression of the world through them. And it's like Kev's saying, he's seen it firsthand and he's lived in these places. It's not the same thing as the tourists tell you.
It's like the beach
and nothing like what you hear on the news and shit like that. So it's like, I want to make that parallel, that comparison to the things that people read in books or this, the Bible says this or this book says that, blah, blah, blah. It's like all of that shit at the end of the day is just information. Going on the same parallel here where we were talking on the last couple episodes. We can't verify anything pre-1940s because we can't talk to anybody that existed then. That we know existed then, right? Because otherwise they would break the nobody lives past 100 idea that they've implanted in our minds, where it's like, I won't go into details on that, but the point needed to be made, where it's, how do we really trust any of this information, y'all? There has to be a method that we can perform each time on the information that we're being presented with in effort to find the truth. And we can do that. So we're in a good spot still. But it's like we do need to all wake up and be like, yo, collectively, we just really don't actually know any of the things that we think we know. And this technology and all this shit that we think we have, it's not exactly what we think it is. So I think 2024, to reiterate, the main idea is going to be, let's identify the pattern in the chaos so we can keep people as aware and informed and able to inform themselves and their loved ones and keep everybody as safe in mentality, because you got to keep people like armed, like to guard your mind, because otherwise God like information can trigger these emotions that just take people over. And when we combine this, we synergize with the idea of hypnotism. Like, how are they getting these people to be hypnotized at a Taylor Swift concert? They're not holding a, it's not the stereotypical setting that we would think of. It's a much different kind of, I shouldn't say much different, it's a different kind of application in that it could be emotionally triggered. Now, one of the details I wanted to bring up in the movie that I was talking about earlier, where these two go to a meditational retreat and the hypnotherapist is performing these things, is one thing they talk about. Like, she's using like technology, right, to go in and plant triggers to in their days to produce these emotional states, so she can get her hooks in to control the outcome. And what we see, if we take a step back, what we see is that's what Kabbalah is. That's what they call spirit cooking, if you want to leave out the whole cannibalism and vampirism part of it for the right now. Think of how they're cooking the emotions. What's the Super Bowl? They're cooking up all these emotions. It's at the height of the end of the year. Everybody's paying attention to one game. Look at me. I'm Taylor Swift performing at the halftime Super Bowl. I'm not performing at the halftime Super Bowl. I'm getting married to Travis Kelce at the halftime Super Bowl. Surprise! Maybe they're getting... Anyway, I won't get derailed there. But you guys, that's the point I wanted to make. There's something going on with this hypnotism where it's like they're using these emotional things. And that's one of the things that you can use to recognize the pattern in the chaos, is that a lot of times, most times, they're using fear to make you do something. What was COVID? Total fear-driven psyop. Like, straight up, fear-driven psyop.
It worked.
And it worked.
And that was...
on a lot of people. And a lot of people are still hypnotized by it. This is an excellent example of how our people hypnotized. They literally believe that COVID was real. Like, you could cough, catch it. And you can't. It's not possible. The little PCR test is not even testing for something called COVID. This is all bullshit. It's all a fucking fear-based psyop. We've seen it before. The pattern fits the mold every time. So the same can be said with the school shootings, things like that. Oh, what? School shootings are fake? Oh, I'm not even getting started on
Man, you know what's crazy about... God, you just hit something, and I said, or you just said something, and fuck, god damn it.
Well, let it resonate. I need
I need to figure that one out.
You want to talk about school loans?
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting hungry too. We want to break and take a...
Yeah, just pause it real quick.
Yeah, should we just pause it quick? All right, let's do that. All right, y'all,
Let's
we'll be right back.
Marco's our sponsorship. Where's my residual?
All right, we back, everybody. Here we go.
We're back.
So,
back.
Niners lost by 1. We could have probably seen that one coming because everybody would probably think the Niners are going to win. But, I don't know, That one could go either way because people probably knew that second stringers were going to be in. It's a good game for the 49ers to lose. So, and then we have the Seahawks game. Same exact score, 21-20.
Yep.
About 10 seconds left on the game, so we'll see where that one's going to end. Before we even started recording, Kevin and I both called the Giants to win over the Eagles. Mm-hmm. And they handed them a whopping, beat them by 17, 27-10.
It was like the Eagles didn't show up.
Welcome to the new year,
Yeah, welcome to the new year, motherfuckers. I'm going to tell you right now, the public got their ass absolutely schlocked today in betting. If you are betting these games, if you picked more than one game, you didn't win.
Oof.
You didn't win. Everybody's a liar. Anybody who says that they won in this week is a fucking bona fide luck box for the 1 week out of the year. But everybody lost.
Green Bay beat
You
the Bears.
couldn't make money in sports betting. Look at all the underdogs.
Oh my God, Kansas City is only up by 1. We are right in the thick of the finals.
The underdogs are
Final
all
minutes
covering.
here.
See what I mean? How these teams, it's irrelevant, but it matters to the gambling. Do you see how that relates?
Definitely.
See how they can control whatever the fuck they want to do, any game, any second.
That's right.
They don't give a fuck, and that's fine. Control that. Remember?
But
the people that are in control of it, you can't piece it together.
We've been noting how they've been setting their triggers on the public, how they want them to think about a certain team going into places. I remember when it was a Minnesota game that we called, and we were like, Minnesota's gonna win this game because of XYZ reason, and it was like, they set up the public the last 2 weeks. They've had Minnesota do XYZ. So this week it was just a pattern recognition is really what it was, and we're seeing it all over the place here. How they set up the public to make them bet certain ways. All the little ESPN briefings that they do where they fucking it's 9 o'clock, 8 a.m. the morning sports news, and you got Sterling Sharp or Shannon Sharp, whatever his name is, and Charles Barkley and Troy Aikman. They're all giving you their prediction on the game. It's 27-14 Raiders. I'm going to predict that. They're doing so much stuff, so many things to throw the public. One of the things I heard listening around the campfires, people have been theorizing about the Super Bowl logo colors, that's giving away the team. Those simple things. Oh my God, did that field goal miss? Yeah, it was a curveball field goal at the end of the Cardinals game so the Cardinals lose. Wow. They couldn't just throw the Cardinals a bone there at the end of the season.
They sure did.
Look
See,
at that. They're not going to replay that field goal.
The gambling
either,
public got their ass slacked today.
That thing curved farther than one of the field goals. I think it was like wow.
This shit's all rigged, man.
Wow.
You know what? The other thing they can do with all the numbers now, they can just input anything into now the supercomputer, and they can set all the spreads for every scenario next year because they know exactly what number people are going to bite at and how they can fucking capitalize on that. And situational. We need to switch the roles, switch the script.
You think that they're not using the statistics from
just like how many Chiefs bettors are going to take it when they're -3.5 versus -4? You'd be shocked at how many people would take them. I'd take them at -4 in a second. Fuck it.
Well, now they've got the betting apps in the hands of everybody with a smartphone, so they're going to have tons of data to harvest from the patterns in which people bet.
Mm-hmm.
This is very interesting.
I know, man. It's told you this whole thing. We'll see, man.
Well, okay, interesting stuff. Dolphins defense, oh my God.
Sports gambling is losing for the people that just treat it as recreational because you ain't gonna win. The numbers, man, you can't beat them.
You're better off.
You can't beat them. No matter how many combinations you want to try, you ain't gonna beat them.
Yep, WWE.
You're gonna get lucky. You can flip a coin 10 in a row and win, but fucking you ain't gonna do it 100 in a row.
You betting on Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're betting on The Rock.
Yep.
You're betting on The Undertaker.
The Rock.
You're betting on Hulk Hogan.
Smell what the Rock's cooking.
Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Oh my gosh.
We smell what the Rock's cooking.
John Cena's the best actor that ever lived.
John Cena. Think John Cena could be president one day?
I think he'd make a great politician.
Governor of California?
The people's politician, John
He's a
Cena.
WWE. He's a sensation.
Yeah.
The guy's
yeah.
He's got his name. He's got following. He's
Yeah,
like Taylor Swift for wrestling.
He's not in any terrible movies.
No, he's never a bad guy.
Yeah.
He
No.
was always the goddamn guy, got away with everything.
Oh my goodness.
Funny guy too.
How did the Eagles lose? Look at that catch. One-handed, amazing.
Jeez. It gets better, and they just magnify the whole thing for the. See how we can see the season end by the top fucking plays, Jake's rig plays of the week already in the book. All he has to do is play the top fucking top 5 plays of this. It's all rigged. That's
I can
all.
hear the magnets.
I don't know why he has to go find so much. You could just videotape the top 5 right here. That's your top 5 rig plays. No matter how that touchdown happened, it was rigged. See, the guy slid. Oh, he's rigged. See,
do like top
I don't know what
3
his
rigged field
I don't know what his
top 3.
I don't know what his time management is or what he does that works for him. But to break it down, it seems like it's a lot of work just to try to narrow
watch
it
all
down.
those games
To
and
narrow
be
it
like, over
down
the
to
top.
what exactly caused the rigged in that. And
Yeah,
I commend him,
man.
man. That's a lot of work.
That.
That's a lot of hours. A lot of hours.
Yeah. The problem is though, if you're listening, Jake, I don't even watch all of them. Like I start the video like it's gonna be cool, but then I'm like, well, okay. I just kind of lose interest because it's like 10 plays. Like 10 plays is too many for me.
That's quite a few.
Like 5 would hold my attention easier.
Yeah, because I know every single one of the games has a rig play in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just breaking it down to which is the best one. I just think it doesn't matter. They're all good.
Like I would take the top 2 field goals, the top 3 plays, or top 3 field goals, top 3 plays. Like whatever
something like
it is.
that. The trifecta.
But top 10 is like, oh, okay, that's just overkill after a while.
Top 10.
Yeah, because how many weeks are you doing? 18 weeks. That's 180 plays. I mean, fuck that. I tell you right now, fuck that. Because I would have looked ahead. I would have like, how many episodes are we going to theoretically do? If it's even close to 20, and there's no fucking way I'm doing 2,000 plays.
At that point, I would contact somebody in South Korea. And I'd be like, give me the guy that does shit and get it done for like $10,000 US.
We'd have to outsource.
I'd have like 100 of those people like, hey, I'll do it for you. What do you mean? Because over in Korea, they'll work 28 hours a day.
I'd be
those programmers over there making fat stacks in South Korea, working for the American, the people that just don't have the time but don't have the team. They're making money in South Korea for. Any of that shit, dude.
I'd be like,
you don't need a college degree, motherfucking. Go to South Korea for 6 months and learn everything that they're doing.
I'm doing the top fucking 2 plays every week.
Like, you'd have people that would be able to break it all down, but nah.
I would do the top play out of every game that we did and the top field goal. I would just do 2 of them, and maybe some noteworthies if they were like really easy.
Well, whatever he did
other than
worked.
that, yeah.
Whatever he did worked. Let him do it.
Well, he's a full-time YouTuber, so it's like you got all day.
Yeah. Well, you gotta prioritize.
Yeah.
Yes. The NFL season is coming to a finale.
You want to put in the work 8 hours a day? You're going to be pumping out a shitload of content if you're putting in 8 hours a day making content. Depending on how fucking slow you are.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people spend a lot of time editing, and I don't do that, man. I have way too many good ideas. The more I learn about editing, the more like ideas I have that I want to do, because I just start, oh my god, this is all possible. I could do this, and this, and I just don't want to think all of those things.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's like that's one of those slippery slopes.
I'd have too many things going on. I wouldn't have got to get anything done.
Then I'm sitting there staring at my computer trying to edit, and it's like, no, man, that's your.
Absolutely.
The more editing you do, the more you lose in a lot of instances. Because whether you know it or not, people are going to they're going to catch an eye, they're going to develop an eye for the artificial, the edited stuff, and they're going to lose taste for it because that's what everybody's doing now. The market is going to become so saturated with edited content. They're going to
the computer's going to overload.
Well, the real community that you want to be creating is one that likes the genuine content, the genuine part. Because if your content is simply genuine, non-flashy, and it's based on what we've built ourselves on, then it's not about how do I entertain this audience. It's just about being genuine, which is way easier because then we don't have anything artificial. Then any amount of editing that we do is going to be just around getting the content that we produce out. Like when we start doing some disc golf content, I finally learned how to throw nose down. And I know that might be gibberish to everybody, but anybody in the disc golf community or like that understands what I'm talking about, I have been trying for the last 2 years, like doing field work, all sorts of like form work, trying to figure out the grip that works right, and I haven't been able to, for the longest time, like reproduce a repetitious or repetitive ability to throw the frisbee nose down so it gets that nice flat flight and you experience the actual flight of the disc, how it's supposed to be thrown, and you don't have to throw so hard and the disc actually flies. Like, oh my god, I finally figured it out, y'all. It's yes. And now it's too cold for me to go outside and throw.
Shit.
So as happy as I was about it, I only got to get out there like 2 times.
Yeah.
But at least I was like...
Yeah. Well, yeah, did your best. At least
It
you
took a
accomplished
long
something.
time, man. Oh my god. And like my neck is still not 100%. It's still coming around. So once that, there's going to be... I'll be able to twist a lot easier and more controlled, put more power and finesse on it at the same time type of thing. So disc golf is going to become a lot more fun. It was getting very frustrating to the point where a lot of the days I would be like, I would be questioning whether this is just something I'm not going to be able to do or something. Like I wasn't ready to give up, but sometimes it was so frustrating to just repeat the same mistake and not know what's happening, not know what's wrong. And what I figured out was I was putting my thumb way too far in to the center of the disc. So what was happening was when I was like pinching at the end of the release, it was kind of flicking it almost, like it was kind of causing a flip.
I know.
Where the angle of the nose would be up then instead of just nice and level or down, as they say. So I gripped it right correctly now. I've messed with that, and yeah, I'll stop talking about that. Because
Shout out to disc golf.
some people might not be interested, but good gosh, throwing a frisbee can be a lot harder than you actually think. Because one of the things that we've talked about here is whether disc golf is harder than the regular traditional ball golf. And most people think that ball golf is so much harder. And we've had that whole debate. We've arrived on the disc golf is harder. But the current state of like the professional sport of disc golf is a lot easier than where the professional sport of ball golf is. So, without going into that debate and those details, that was one thing, yes, that I figured out. That I needed to get. I needed to share that with everybody. Everybody, that was a I need to share moment. By the way, if you do need to share stuff, we do have a Discord channel that you can join if you want. It's Big Brain University. I'll never censor any of the speech there unless you're like making death threats to people. That's just something that we have to take down. I think the bots would actually take it down.
I'm pretty sure that somebody would be fucking
Yeah.
taking shit down.
I don't think I'm
or
gonna
locking shit down. That's what we do. Locking shit down and being like, what the hell's going on?
Like, I think I'm gonna get us on.
The NFL is threatening this, guys.
Yeah.
What the? We got to get them. NFL's like, fuck you. We're bigger than everybody.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, the NFL is bigger than the fucking. We're doomed.
I think I'm gonna try to get us on TikTok and Twitch, where Twitch you can have live chat.
Yeah.
And one of the things, like, I just even in the Discord channel and the live chats and YouTube, I don't think I'm gonna have moderators and give people the ability to start banning people. It's just,
You said this, you're banned.
I am totally
You can't
so
disagree with
far
me.
against banning
Banned.
people for what they say.
I'm
like,
banning you
especially if they're
forever.
trying to give me grief. I do not give a fuck. Like, you are just not going to get under my skin, so what you're saying, if you're trying to come at me, it doesn't matter. It's just, I'm not going to ban you. Even if you're trying to say, like, anything about what we're talking about, you think I'm stupid or something, I don't give a fuck. Like,
What if you tell they, you're a controlled app?
like,
You're a
yeah,
controlled app.
we're not your typical YouTube influencers that give any fucks. You know?
No.
Like,
Give
we
a
do
shit.
this. We haven't edited a single moment. I
Yeah.
mean, we're 2 hours in. I don't need to be describing all that shit. But there are a lot of new people around, though, that will be listening. So we're just kind of in that stage where the snowball is starting to roll. And now that we've expanded to all of the platforms instead of just BitChute, like I said, the snowball is really starting to roll. So we're going to see
Monetize.
a lot more people coming around and listening. So we might have to rehash a few things from time to time. But
Season's over.
Yeah.
Almost. This is the
You
week 18.
we're not even going to go for too long tonight. We're just going to kind of wrap up when these main games here are finished, and then whenever we just get kind of done wrapping, which will probably be in the next 10, 15 minutes here. There's going to be a lot of things that happen this year. We need people to, I think, any advice that I would give people that are new to researching truth, and you're trying to make sense of the sea of information in front of you that's full of bullshit, and you're trying to find what isn't bullshit. It's a tough task. I'm telling you, if you don't have help
If you can't break it down.
or a guide, or you don't
to.
have an educated methodology,
No, you're dead.
You're
Just trapped.
you're in
You're in hypnotismville.
you're
and
in
fucked.
pirate infested waters.
Mm-hmm. You're in Somalia with
That's
the gold.
right. That's right.
You ain't got no
pirate
defense.
infested waters with no guns.
You ain't got no defense. So you got to prepare a barrier defense to figure out what the hell's going on.
That's right. So to protect your mind, what I would suggest is really starting with. You can relate this to a cybersecurity methodology where you deny all traffic to start on your filter, on your network filter. You just deny all. You don't allow any traffic. And then what you do is you just whitelist certain things. So only those few things are inputting information on your network. That's one way to keep your data management under control in this like chaotic, like it's going to be chaos out there. You're going to hear nothing but lies at a very large volume, and they're going to be trying to pull you emotionally. And one of the reasons it's going to be so important for you to have a grip of what's going on is to better handle those around you, because they are going to be triggered into such emotional states that they're going to be in a bit of a panic mode. That's what I am predicting 2024 to be. So hopefully you can minimize the amount of data in your life find a few good sources of information, and then make the best of that. Keep it at a minimum. That's what I would recommend for anybody kind of starting out. I would definitely recommend you go through the Big Brain University catalog. Just listen to the first 5 episodes or the first 5 lessons. It's all we have out there available right now. And it paints a pretty good picture of what's going on, where we're at, and just how to just remain calm. Just chill out. Obviously, it's a bit of a situation that we're all a part of here, but it's not really anything necessarily new in society, because we're kind of guessing that something like this has happened before. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been so successful to this point.
Somebody was asking about it. I was trying to put this into like what would really happen in this situation. Like if aliens invaded Earth, that's always been one of those where if that happened, like we don't have a plan. It's just what we, as far as like the normal people, meaning we don't have a plan. Me and you, we don't have a fucking plan if it happens.
Where are we gonna go?
Where are we gonna go?
And what I think, point them to the sky.
What I think, what would happen is.
Say, God,
like
an
alien, somebody that's outsmarted, or somebody that's an alien, whatever it is, or it's created out of whatever. I think it would just keep itself a secret, but slowly build its way up to create an army. What are we talking like Taylor Swift? Is that kind of a comparison to make? That's somebody that changed the entire world off of one person. An alien could change an entire world.
Do you know how many Disney and pop stars they went through to condition everybody to get them to the point where Taylor Swift could round them all up?
All of them. She's
in
big.
One fell swoop.
One
unlike any of the others have ever done before, ever. Now, I mean, we can really dig in on like the psychology of her music. Like I've listened. There's a song called "Happiness." I might have to make some videos and just breaking down because it's all like, it was a song like the background music. I was like, that sounds like the music in the fucking movie that I just watched where the hypnotherapist is at the meditation retreat is hypnotizing the 2 girls. Like, and then the lyrics behind it were I was just like, oh my God, it sounds like Chat GPT is right. Like, Chat GPT, write me a fucking hypnotic love song titled "Happiness" that is in the style of Taylor Swift, and it would be like, that's the song that would exist. So, I guess I could play it for everybody, but it's like, go. You can YouTube it yourselves if you wanna.
Let Taylor get her residual check from y'all clicking on her shit.
It's a really boring song.
I don't want her getting anything from me.
And y'all might even start listening to it and be like, oh my God, like it's so hard to get through because it's so boring. But it's like, then think about it actually in the context that it should be thought about, as in it's actually spellcraft and it's a hypnotic effort. Then the music will make sense to you, and the lyrics you will see make sense to you. And then when you see, like, some people will cry during movies. This is a perfect example. Like, some people are so driven emotionally and triggered by what they're seeing on television, they'll link their emotions into the story, and they will actually cry. But what I've noticed is I'm not linked to any of the stories a lot of the times I'm watching these movies. But for some reason, at those moments, I'll still like feel some of those tingles, and it's like. But then what I do is I'm like, wait a minute, I broaden my senses a little bit, and I'm like, what type of frequency are they playing right now? Is it that kind of high pitched, like
it's casino,
almost like high pitched sound that kind of almost grabs your throat cords, and when you get kind of swelled up and you almost cry, like everything gets all tense, and it's like that high kind of pitched feeling. Well, yeah, they're using that sound manipulation in the background to heighten the emotions, to heighten the sensitivity to them. And what the effect is like it's a very hypnotic effect. And again, like our emotions as a result of being conditioned and from our youth, in so many ways.
The corporate matrix, bro.
We are not emotionally intelligent. So being emotionally unintelligent makes you much more susceptible to something like emotional hypnotism and
to be a psychopath.
Yeah, to be a psychopath.
Well, we have a trained breed.
To be a Swiftie.
We was trained.
What was that?
I was trained. I was trained all types of.
You should get a parrot. That'd be hilarious.
Taylor
Swift. What would you teach it to say? Okay, sorry to segue that.
There'd be a lot of Swiftie haters in this fucking. They want a thing hung and dead with a pitchfork. So yeah, but if you don't get trained the psychological way to counteract that, then nobody really has a way to, I don't know, compartmentalize stuff. But I was trained how to, oh shit, bears in the woods, let's not fucking freak out, let's fucking calm down, let's just figure it out, not panic. So
breathe.
You have to learn how to breathe, had to learn how to fall asleep in under 2 minutes in a situation. Like, there's a lot of shit behind the psychology.
That part would be really useful and interesting to just calm your mind. And
I use a lot in poker, trying to control the autonomic nervous system because it regulates everything and it just can give away so many tails. And that's where it was where you got to apply these skills, but I learned. But also into normal fucking life. If I would have these skills when I was fucking 17, motherfucker, I'd be fucking running shit over.
Right.
Motherfuckers, no emotions, no fucks given, and the control of the, I don't know. Say you get kidnapped and they hold you as a terrorist come there. You gotta fucking stand your ground. You can't give away shit. You can't be talking like you don't know what the fuck. You have to be like assertive. But they have to train. You can't fault under pressure, right? You gotta. It's called like I don't know, survival training.
Yeah.
That type of shit.
Yeah.
You gotta know what's going on and then
makes sense.
A lot of training.
Makes perfect sense.
A lot of training.
Yep. So that's the.
You can use it in real life. That's a thing. You could probably do it with, there's so many different angles to, I don't know. I don't think it would work in the certain parts of the corporate structure, but if you do it, I don't know, might get criticized in some avenues. I don't know. I haven't tested the waters, nor do I want to.
Oh yeah, and going for any truth and starting to sort things out for yourself in life, you are just going to naturally create some haters on you. But you know what? That's like I said. If people are hating on you and you don't want to be fucking hated on anymore, like that shit actually gets to you. You need some place to hang out online. Big Brain University Discord. Or even any one of the channels, you can always just leave a comment, whatever. But nobody here is really going to be judging anybody. We live in a really fucking weird world where there is so many things that we don't even know about. Like there's probably snake people walking around next to us, octopus people, brainworm people.
Shit, man, they're everywhere.
Cloned people, robot people.
They're just
mermaids.
People.
There's the inverted genders. There's the transgenders. There's all sorts of things where it's like these things have been around us for so much longer than any of us have even really considered or even thought about. So when you come across these subjects initially, it's like it can be fairly off-putting. I know the gendered version one is like one that people are just like, holy fucking shit, what? And then you see it all around you, and it's like, well, wait a minute, these people have been here for a lot longer. Like, and it's all around the world too. Kev confirmed, like, no, because once you see it, and then you can relate it to what I've seen, and you know, it's all around the world. So, you know, these people, most of these people are they're just like anybody else or any other type of population. There's the good ones and bad ones, and then there's all in between. So
Asia, like Japan and China are very quiet fucking nations.
well,
Like, I thought everybody was a spy in Asia. Like, nobody talked. Like, everybody.
nobody
fucking
talks. They're all just like observant.
Just observe it, because there's so many people. Think about
I
this.
suppose,
If
yeah.
you have just like 3 or 4 people that pass you, you got like no fear, nothing.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? But now you got, I don't know, 300 people. All
Right.
It's just
Right.
like New York City, perfect example.
Yeah.
You get upset in New York City, different ball game, but just people don't want to be fucked with. You know, the people that want to fuck with people just want to create their chaos.
The world's chaotic enough.
The world is a
I
vampire.
suppose.
Set to drain.
Yeah, like there's probably vampires, cannibals in the world, like things that have lived for thousands of years that are living underground. Like Middle Earth is probably
sure.
underground. There's probably like 900 Middle Earths underground.
Mariana's Trench.
You know, how the heck do we know? Kev's saying, you know, there's land over in Antarctica. You know, like there's a shopping mall there and the whole
They
civilization.
got a beach over there. They got a golf. They got all types of stuff, right?
So,
They're playing with making penguins into whatever the fuck they
Yeah.
doing with those things.
yeah.
There's no other really animals to experiment with up there, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Interesting.
think you'll ever hear us say that we know absolutely what's going on, or you know, only come to us and we're the one-stop source for anything. But
That's it.
I think you will find that we do cover as much as I think that people need to be concerned with, and not saying that you only need to hear about stuff from us, but if we were the only source of information that you did have, I don't think you'd be too far off the beaten path at the end of the day. With that being said, collaboration is key to solving collective problems, though. You'll hear me say that, which means the more people that we can get looking for the patterns, that means the more information we can cover collectively. So I can't go through it all myself. Kev can't go through it all himself. We can't produce that all into content ourselves, you know. It has to be a collective effort. It takes, you know, we are collective organisms, really. I mean, that's what, you know, when it comes down to it, our consciousness is collective. So, and it's collective on a level that it's like on a galactic community level. Like, consciousness is so much bigger than any of us are really considering, but I won't get into any more details on that because that's a whole nother conversation, but we're trying to wrap it up in the next like 4 minutes here.
Season's almost in the book, so
Yep.
what a season! So
Looking
happy
forward
that it's
to the
finally
new year.
2-1.
I'm excited. This cold is gonna go away fairly quickly. Like, don't move here. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But we deal with it, and then we appreciate the rest of the year. So it gives us a chance to go inside and kind of reflect on when we can be outside again.
If COVID doesn't come back.
If granted that COVID doesn't come back and we get
Right,
locked all
see
down
everybody.
again.
We'll see y'all
Like, we
in the
gotta
year-
lock down just to make sure the election goes okay.
We'll see y'all in the year 2030,
Oh my God.
whatever year that is.
This could be one of the
It's gonna
biggest
be a
shit
year.
shows we've
We're
ever
gonna
seen.
see.
They've
I'm telling
like
you.
we've been telling y'all.
Shit's
They've been
coming.
They've been setting up these triggers.
Triggers.
Why Donald Trump? Why Taylor Swift? Why COVID? Why then? Like, they are doing it because they have a script. They got a fucking schedule. They are putting their triggers in for fucking something, and
We are
it's on a
doomed.
level that we haven't seen it before during
No,
our time.
I haven't seen anything
So-
like this in in my years of just
we've seen a big
analyzing
shift in movies.
shit in the world.
We've seen a shift in music. We've seen this shift where there's a whole bunch of people in Hollywood that are probably pedophiles, and in the government, like, this information's coming out. We're seeing a lot of triggers being planted here, and we need to be real goddamn skeptical of all of it, how true it all may be. We still need to be very fucking skeptical with how they're trying to get us to behave in certain ways.
They are.
Because even Kev and I, in relaying the truth to you all, we're playing a part in their fucking game. Because if we're sitting here telling you all the truth, it means they don't have to. Because they'll be like, when it comes down to it on Judgment Day, they'll be like, yeah, so what? We fucking lied to you. They told you the truth. You heard it. You're fucking responsible for your own soul. And that includes the choices you make about the shit you believe. I'm not going to get into this whole belief mentality thing, in how the belief mentality is like a completely hypnotic fucking spell, dude. Because even if you tell people, like, look, dude, I don't have beliefs. I don't deal in a belief mentality scenario where they're like, well, what do you believe then? What do you stand for? It's like, what do you mean? I don't have to believe anything to, like, be a good person. I just need to do good things and think good things. Think good, do good. What do I have to believe about any of that? So, but then you'll hear people say, well, no, that you can't say you believe nothing, because then that's sort of a belief that you have no beliefs in anything. It's like, dudes, do you see how it's just this cyclical, this trap that you never get out of? Like, oh, if I don't believe this, I have to believe something else. Well, where's your state of in-between believing in something? Like, why can't you just talk about it and consider it, and then figure out what's the best method of approach to move forward, in hindsight being 2020, that this new information that you just got might not be exactly what you think it is at this very time. Just like, for a soft example again, the gender inversion thing is very shocking to some people right away. Or the shape of the earth thing is very shocking to people right away. So they might want to mock a flat earther, call them all sorts of fucking names, like, oh, you're this and you're that. But then in the end, two years later, something's going to happen in that person's life where it's like, now they meet another flat earther that actually convinces them that NASA is lying. And then they regret.
You always bring NASA.
And they regret their former behavior. So it's like, just try to be a little bit more mindful about yourself in the now, in terms of future and past self, in where you want to be in your future now, looking back at yourself. One thing that I did was quit drinking last year, quit drinking alcohol in like June or something like that. Might have been, yeah. So it's been a good half a year.
You see the world differently.
You do see the world
differently. Well, not even the world. You see the fucking people.
Yes,
the people out there. They're all corporate.
It's like, why is our society so conditioned that once you hit a certain age, you just drink for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
It's like, so you're telling me that you're just going to poison yourself for the majority of your life?
Yeah.
Like,
that's what they do.
Why is
the Germans have been doing that forever?
To be like,
the Germans have been doing that forever. They seem to live fucking completely
it's fucking insane. I don't know how they do it. They probably live with health problems as a result of it. They just deal with it.
They're not big on liquor. They're only in the beer. They don't get fucked. They don't not a big.
They probably drink like different. Like, it's probably not shit processed beer.
Like you can
we have here.
You can drink. Here's
because we have like Busch Light, Budweiser.
Shit.
They probably have. You know, the worst thing they drink there is probably Guinness.
Guinness, yeah. Now there's a war between England and Germany on their beers, but you can drink when you're 16. Fucking liters of beer at 16. But hard liquor, I think you had to be 18 to get like liquor, and it was expensive.
Okay,
it's expensive because they're like, we don't want
we don't want our country.
We don't want our country Jack Daniels and Jim Beamed up. We wanted our fucking beer, and they started young. So a 16-year-old can have 6 pints and still be over the course of time. He gonna be okay.
Yeah.
He was 16-year-old. German beer for the first time. Give him a half a pint and see what the fuck happens to this kid. he's going to be dead. So there's a different parallel of ship to different countries. See what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you go over to Russia. Fuck their beer. They like drugged in vodka. So but they're fine for some reason. I don't know. Our country is just mad. They want to mix it all together. See, you don't see the Russians mixing all that shit. You don't see German. They're doing beer.
That's true.
So if you stick to just
there
one,
probably is something to be said about that.
It'll kill you twice as fast if you use the alcohol. Germany is just an example of how it works, where their laws are free or legal sex, free everything. Drinking at 16. I mean, we're talking no speed limit. I mean, you incorporate those in America, we're dead, because you give them booze, unlimited speed limit. You really think drunk people are going to autobahn in Germany? No, they're responsible. But the point is, it's our philosophy is pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
With the liquor,
different shot every
time. And
time.
booze kills women twice as fast as women. German women just drink beer; they're fine. They live for a long time. It's the actual alcohol booze that kills.
The liquor, the highly concentrated.
And other countries are deterred of that. They don't want that. Australia's another example. They don't want people getting they want them drinking the beer because it kills your culture faster than anything. Why do you think Anheuser-Busch gets a pass on all? Because it's advertised in all the sporting stadiums. Yeah. If I was the head chairman for Anheuser-Busch and I said, hey man, you'd be like, what can you do for me? I can get you tickets to the Super Bowl or tickets to the Final Four, tickets to wherever, any fucking venue you want to go. I don't give a fuck if it's a concert ticket. But if I'm the board of chair for Jim Beam or Jack Daniels, I can't really do much for you. I might get you at a NASCAR event, but I don't know. It's just a different, like tobacco, same thing. So the alcohol for sure. The goddamn, our culture's so fucking fucked up on that shit that it's too late. So good on you though. Yeah, go against the societal way of just getting fucking blottoed. It's not. It doesn't work.
I had to. I needed to transform my body. I needed to heal my neck, and the drink was just not helping. And then I'm pretty sure I detailed it a while, but I don't know. I didn't really make a big deal out of it, but I had another issue where it was like my stomach just went offline. Like it did not want to eat anything. I got nauseous because I was super hungry that morning, and the hunger produced this nausea, and that just like made just that whole thing. And why it happened was because alcohol blocks your ability to absorb nutrients. So it decreases your ability to absorb nutrients in your body. So it just poisons you. So all the stuff that I was doing, like trying to eat healthy or trying to eat a lot, trying to gain weight or going to work out, it was all just being reversed or nullified basically by what I was drinking.
Yes, sir.
So I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. This is the last time
2024
that I have to depend on somebody because I don't feel like I'm not healthy enough to get up and make myself a meal because I just feel like crap and my stomach is just like, dude, I don't wish that upon anybody that's feeling a starvation and then you lose a bunch of weight where your body's just eating itself. Like
the cancer.
That's what they want you. That's why they want you to go plant-based. And that's what started all of this crazy nauseous hunger that it was like, man, that's a hunger you just never want to feel because it's I remember it. I won't go.
I've seen it in third world countries, bro.
I'll end up talking 20 goddamn more minutes on this, but anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up, y'all. We'll be seeing you next time. We'll get another episode out soon. Season's about to get more interesting as we go into the playoffs here. We'll see how the narrative starts to go. We shall see in just a short amount of time whether our predictions will come true on the season or not. We'll see. So that's always going to be an interesting one to find out. Hopefully we have said something that you wouldn't have heard had you not listened to us, and that that is something that you can take into your future and use as a resource for you and those around you to make this place less shitty for everybody. Hope you all had a nice holidays and entrance into 2024. We will be here to make some sense of the chaos and
The unsolved mysteries.
the unsolved mysteries.
Scriptories.
A lot of truths are being revealed these days, so you know,
The show.
we're on a roller coaster ride that could get more interesting by the moment.
2024. Ready.
Ready to roll? Let's go! All right, y'all.
Antarctica. If you hear anything, let us know.
Bon voyage!
Later. One way. You ain't coming back.
The real Iceland, right?
Yeah. The fucking Greenland.
All right, y'all. See ya.
Fucking Antarctica is the size of, I don't know how big that bitch is. Who measured that shit? Nobody, bro. Nobody